We're well into the business end of the 2025 BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells, and today I'm going to be focusing on the women to preview the upcoming quarterfinals, including that edgy Paris Olympics rematch between Iga and Qinwen. I'll of course talk about the Gauff defeat to Belinda Bencic, which is in my opinion a good loss for the American, and share what to really make of Elena Rybakina's straightforward defeat to Mirra Andreeva. Hey, I'm Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you have not yet already, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are notified whenever I post still more Indian Wells related content. Belinda Bencic got her leg back from that Australian Open fourth round against Coco Gauff, which I predicted would happen as she defeated the American 3-6, 6-3, 6-3 in the Indian Wells fourth round. This was a good match overall, I'd say. It was a little bit shaky at first after a couple of early breaks being traded. And Coco, she struggled with a few double faults issues early on in the opening set, but she controlled it nicely and held on to her advantage to claim the opener. Bencic was a bit sloppy in this first set, but after she received a medical timeout for a blister, she came out a lot cleaner in set number 2. Meanwhile, Coco played a sloppy service game in the second game of set number 2, and she got broken at 15. That was the only break that Bencic needed to claim the second set, as she held serve fairly comfortably throughout, really for the remainder of not only the set, but really the entire match. And the same can be said for Coco really up until 4-all 40 love in the third set. There, Bencic really stepped up and rallied back to break thanks to a combo of her being solid and Coco being more error prone. Gauff had a sliver of an opening to break back the following game, but it just came down to Bencic being more solid in the end, I feel, and then Coco kind of being a little bit more error prone. And I feel like it was a bit weird from her because she didn't commit to her shots at times, and then while other times she did, I felt a little bit too much. Still, as I alluded to in the intro, I think this was a good loss for Coco. Bencic had been in great form coming into this match as she had beaten 2 top 20 players, and many people honestly picked Belinda to win despite Coco being ranked vastly higher than the Swiss woman. But Bencic is number 10 in the WTA race right now too, 2 spots higher than Coco, which shows how well Bencic has been playing this year, as she also picked up a 500 title in Abu Dhabi and claimed a top 10 win against Elena Rybakina in Abu Dhabi too, by the same scoreline that she beat Coco with. I don't think Coco's serve was too much of an issue as far as the double faults. She hit, I think, 4 or 5 double faults in the opening set, which she went on to win anyways. And she had a total of 8 double faults, so really not too bad. I think if anything, maybe the serve could have won her a few more easy points if it was better in those tight, crucial moments, especially in the third set, to get her out of trouble. And for her to ultimately come out on top of that 4-all game in the decider, but her serve just isn't really there at the moment. The stats look kind of even, as both women ended up with 88 points, won apiece, and Coco hit 31 winners to 36 unforced errors, which is not bad at all. Bencic, she hit 6 more errors than winners, so again, pretty even. Coco said herself in her press conference post-match that she felt that unlike the match against Belinda in the Australian Open, which of course Coco won, she felt that Bencic was the more aggressive of the two in the latter stages of the match, and that's really what made the difference. And she felt that Bencic really took it to her. Gauff, as always, was pretty positive, had a positive outlook on things after the loss. It's not as bad as it seems, she said. At the start of the year, I did well at the United Cup and lost to Paula in Australia. Middle East wasn't a great swing for me. Here, I lost 6-4 in the third and the fourth round against a tough opponent who's coming off a 500 win. Obviously, I wanted to do better, want to have better results, but it's not something I can crush myself on. I'm trying to do better, and that's all I can do. I'm trying to work on things in practice, and unfortunately, right now, it's not translating like how I like to. I completely agree with Coco. Really not much more to add on to that. I think she, again, has a great mentality. I keep saying the same old thing, but she still is pretty young. She's about to turn 21, I think, tomorrow. So she still has so much time, I think, to kind of grow and move on. And I think it was a good sign for her that the double faults weren't as bad of an issue for her in this match. I think it just came down to her not being on her quite AA level when it came time to crunch time in the end. And I guess that's something to, if I want to harp on something, it's just her not having that edge against tough players, at least right now, in the tight moments, because Bencic just outplayed her. And yeah, but Coco, she's human. These type of losses happen. And again, not a bad loss at all. Now, I gotta praise the victor here, of course, Belinda Bencic. She's just had an incredible comeback since she gave birth to her daughter Bella last year. She's now up to 45 in the live rankings after starting the season, 487 in the world, and she already earned 2 top 10 wins, of course, over Coco and Rybakina, as I mentioned earlier. And again, I said this before, I think she really has the best shot at winning, becoming the first mom since Kim Clijsters to win a slam. She's been playing incredible tennis, and I think she has a great mentality with her. As she said after this win against Coco, that she tells herself it doesn't matter if she wins or loses these matches because she's already won in life thanks to the family that she has built, and I think that's beautiful. Next up for Belinda is Madison Keys, who extends her win streak to 15 in a row after pulling off an incredible 4-6, 7-6, 6-3 comeback victory over Donna Vekic. Vekic was seeking her first WTA 1000 quarterfinal, and she was 2 points from the win, being up 5-3 in the second set tiebreaker. But Keys showed that same clutchness that we saw from her in Melbourne to dig in and take the second set before using her momentum to completely turn it around in the end. Looking ahead to this next match between Keys and Bencic, it's tied at 2 apiece, and they haven't played in a minute. Their last match was in the Charleston I think quarterfinals or whatever in 2022, and I think this should be a really good match. It might be challenging for Bencic, though, I feel, in terms of her trying to remain aggressive against Keys because Maddie hits such a big ball. Maddie, though, hasn't been quite 100% on her game, but she's fought so hard and she's still played decent tennis, and I feel like she's just been so sky high on confidence right now after these last few 3-set wins. And even though Bencic was able to navigate the challenges of facing an American Coco Gauff here, I think that still Keys will be more emboldened and will have more crowd support. I think that might be the deciding factor to take her through in the end. So I think I'll favor her to win this one and keep the train moving and make the semifinals with a 3-set win. And then all the way at the top, I'm not going to spend too much time because there's really not too much to talk about. It's Aryna Sabalenka, who's just been dominant again. She cruised by lucky loser Sonia Kartal as expected by a scoreline of 6-1, 6-2. Up next for her is Russian Lyudmila Samsonova, who dominated Jasmine Paolini 6-love, 6-4. This has not been the best season at all for Paolini, who is now 8-5, and she really, again, has not played her best tennis. Samsonova, I think, could be a threat to Sabalenka, to be honest. Their head-to-head is even at 2 apiece, and she has the firepower to really push the world number one like the 3 other women who have beaten Sabalenka thus far this season, and Keys, Alex Andreeva, and Clara Towson. Sabalenka did win their last match, which was at the Cincinnati quarterfinals last year by a score of 3-2, and I think I'll give her, again, the edge to win this match in straight sets yet again. Now, probably the most jarring scoreline on the women's side in Indian Wells is Mirra Andreeva completely dominating Elena Rybakina 6-1, 6-2. And I'm wondering whether we should be more impressed by Andreeva's masterclass and how well she's been playing lately, or more worried about Rybakina's subpar form. First, starting with Rybakina, I think this was a dismal performance from the 2023 champion as she hit just 4 winners to 33 unforced errors, and she hit 0 aces. I think it's odd, too, because she played so well in her previous match against Katie Bolter, winning love in 5. I think some of her, decline in performance could have been attributed to not being used to the nighttime conditions. Their match was supposed to be played a little bit earlier in the day, but it was postponed a little bit due to the rain. And Rybakina, she had been playing all of her matches in the day. Meanwhile, Mirra, she had been playing all of her matches during the night. So I feel like the young Russian had a little bit more, experience in playing in these type of conditions, and I feel like that's an added reason why she was so dominant in this match. Regardless, it's just been rough for Rybakina in the last really 10 months or so. She has not reached a final since winning in Stuttgart last April, and Rybakina also has not won a 1,000 level tournament or higher since she won Rome in 2023. So again, it's been a minute since she's had really big success. I do believe the off-court situation with Stefano Vukov could play a role in Rybakina's struggles for sure, but I do think it's a mental block with Rybakina right now still against big match players. And I feel like it all started from when she lost the Madrid semifinal last year against Aryna Sabalenka, despite coming within 2 points of the win, because since then, she hasn't won a single semifinal. I don't know what Rybakina needs to do in order to get over this slump. I don't know, some fans are calling calling for her to have a hiatus, but I'm not really sure if that'll help things. Really, what I think needs to happen is a full split from Stefano Vukov, but hey, I don't think that's going to happen, and yeah, just hope for the best for her from here on out. That's all I can say. Now on to Mirra. This match fully solidified for me that she is going to be a problem for the women's tour. Of course, she had that impressive run to her maiden WTA 1000 title last month in Dubai, where she beat Swiatek and Rybakina back-to-back en route, and I expected her though to have a little bit of a letdown in Indian Wells, but she's honestly looked even better here. Aside from the Rybakina beatdown, she laid the hammer down against Clara Towson in the third round, only dropping 3 games. Yes, Rybakina played poorly, but you also got to give credit to Mirra for making her opponent play poorly, to be honest, as she rushed the 2023 champion with consistent depth and good pace of shot. Mirra's impeccable returning was on full display too, as she broke Rybakina 6 times and did not allow a single ace. Mirra's currently on a 9-match win streak, and it's easy to forget that she's 17 years old with how mature she goes about her tennis. And I said this a long time ago, but I feel like she's the closest thing that we have to a modern day Martina Hingis due to her high tennis IQ. I would not be surprised if she won her maiden slam this season. Let me know in the comments if you think she will. Andreeva now plays Elena Svitolina in the quarterfinals, who has been playing very well herself lately. The Ukrainian scored back-to-back wins over American seeds, first Danielle Collins and then Jessica Pegula in the 4th round in 3 sets. Now, an interesting stat to me coming into this matchup is that Elena has won 9 out of her last 10 matches against Russians, and I think that's definitely going to be that's a notable fact, because no doubt Svitolina comes to play whenever there's a Russian flag next to her opponent's name. And I feel like even though Mirra is 17, she's not going to show any mercy. Svitolina won't. So I think it's going to be a tight one for sure. I'm intrigued to see how this matchup will go, as it is these two women's first meeting on tour. I think I might favor Svitolina in 3 low-key. Honestly, mainly due to that whole having a chip on her shoulder whenever she faces Russians. Now, finally, perhaps the most enticing women's quarterfinal is between Qinwen Zheng and Iga Swiatek. This will be their first match since the Olympic semifinals, and Iga's going to be out for blood, of course, as that was probably her worst loss ever in her career, as she really wanted that gold medal. I think Iga's going to be the considerable favorite here. She really enjoys the Indian well conditions, as she has only dropped 8 games total en route to the quarterfinals, which is absolutely ludicrous, and she is just coming off a dominant 1-1 win over Karolina Muchova. Now, on the flip side, this has been a bit of a redemption tournament for Qinwen. She was 1-3 on the year coming in here, and I think that she's really boded well having Mirra Andreeva back in her coaching box, as Ryba was recovering from a procedure, I believe, and she's gotten some solid wins this fortnight, as she beat Azarenka, Lulu Sun, who she lost to at Wimbledon in the first round last year, and then most recently she beat Marta Kostyuk convincingly 6-3, 6-2. Iga leads the head-to-head here between these women 6-1, and a few of their matches have gone the distance, but even then, those 3-set matches were pretty one-sided in the end in favor of Swiatek. I'm going to go with Iga winning this match. This match is actually going to be the first match of the day, which Iga loves these daytime conditions, and like I mentioned with Rybakina and Andreeva, I feel like Qinwen, she has played all of her matches at nighttime, so the conditions are totally different from night to day. And Iga has played majority of her matches kind of first on, so that's a huge advantage for the pole. And I feel like that's going to be one of the main reasons why I believe Iga's going to take this one. And I feel like if I had to put a scoreline to it, I'd say it'd be 6-3, 6-3 in favor of the pole. That is all I have for this relatively quicker Indian Wells recap/quarterfinal preview for the women's. Let me know who you think will move on to the Final Four in the comments, and also let me know your thoughts on the results, including Gauff's loss, whether you also agree that it's a relatively good loss for her. Again, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are notified whenever I post new Indian Wells content. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see you all next time here on Christian's Court.